everybody. We are back on a Wednesday. And a Wednesday is when we spend time to think. A Wednesday night is also when we spend time to stay focused. Now, there's a really focused person that's going to appear in this episode. And this person will show us how he managed to use his own hustle and concentration and focus to be able to do many things. You might have seen him before, but right now we're going to show him to you on this screen. I'm also very excited to see if my guess as to who the guess is correct. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, my name is Lê Đăng Khoa. So today it's my pleasure to join the show IELTS FACE-OFF. I am an investor focusing on startup, so you call me a startup investor. I'm now running 21 companies in many different fields, from sport, education, agriculture, technology. So hopefully that I can meet up you guys on tonight's show. So I will share with a lot of my experience over startup and my experience investing.
You've just seen the clip of our guest today, and now you see him on our screen. I know exactly who he is. You might know who he is too, and these pictures are wonderful. He looks like a supermodel, but he has a lot more to offer in our conversation today. So let's welcome Khoa.
Hello, Phoebe. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
Very good to see you here. Right.
Have a seat.
Thank you. Have a seat, please.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to have you here. I've seen you a lot on TV, and I've personally purchased from some of your businesses. So, you know, it's great to have you here in person, and I'd love to talk to you a bit about how you make your investment decisions.
Right.
So, first off, how did you know you want to do business?
So basically, I think I was born and raised in a very business-oriented family. So we born in a very poor family, but my parents, they like selling, buying very small stuff. So when I was a kid, my mom had a very small shop selling rice cake. In Vietnamese called bánh ướt, right? I grew up like as helping my mom and my dad managing that really small business. My dad trained me a lot by just analyzing, right? Why this coffee shop like happening? Why this restaurant winning? Why they losing? Even I was like 6 or 7 years old. So I didn't know much about business. I didn't know much about money or anything. But you know, those stories, day by day, is in my head. I studied abroad, and then I went back with my first business, my family business. After 4 years of running my family business, I started to create my own, you know, like a career.
You decided to invest in multiple different fields, and they seem, to a person outside, they seem to be unrelated to each other sometimes. Right. What is the relationship? How did you choose for these to be your investments?
So I think as investor, as startup investor, what I try to create not just a successful startup, but an ecosystem of startup that can be successful. By that ideas and vision, I try myself in the last 5 years to create the ecosystem. So what kind of characteristic that I will invest in startup? I think first, it has to be very differentiated product or service in potential, right? Second, it's all about the team. They have to prove to me that they can really operating or running the company, even in a really small scale. And normally they have to survive more than a year. And third, the market has to be big. Because my strength, I'm not good at operation. I don't know how to make a flower bouquet. I don't know how to make a cake. I don't know how to make a suit. I'm more like a visionary guy. I can create vision for different companies. I can give them a lot of consultancy on finance, legals, public media, branding, marketing.
Now, what do your parents say about all of these things that you're doing and all of these plans that you have?
They never support me. Still, I was 35. Most of the Vietnamese business people in our parents' generation, they're like really focused. They believe in you only do good at one field with one company. You just focus on it, go big on it, and winning everyone. But then it's on me who would love to creating an ecosystem, who would love to try new things. So at the very first hand, they're not supporting because they don't believe in it. You know, after a lot of up and down time, now, you know, my fund, my liquid venture fund, you know, makes some momentum, but now my mom and dad want to invest in. So I think that's a really good sign, because now we can start to speak the same voice after many years.
Now, there's a couple of, I think there's a lot of young people here in the audience who are interested in business, who are interested in investing. Some of them, they want to create this product, they want to change the world, they want to change how people live, right? But some others, you know, they think it's a good way to make money.
All right.
What's your comment on that? You know, is that really a good way to make money?
I think every year I meet up with a lot of startups team, right? Most of them, like you said, want to change the world. But I only give them one comment on that. Please change your neighborhood first. If you can change your neighbors, if you can make your neighbor buying your product or your service, and then you start talking about changing the world. You know, you don't have to think something so particularly haven't seen anywhere in the world to be successful. You only need to find out the new way of selling products into old market, something just as simple as that.
What do you think are some of the skills that maybe the young business or young entrepreneurs in Vietnam, they lack, and that they should develop that as soon as possible?
I think first, they have to be consistent. They have to be humble, good listener. They have to read a lot. They have to understand the world. The world today changing like almost every second. You have to be hustle,
keep on going.
Keep on going. Yeah. We fail, okay, fine. Failure part of the game, right? Keep going, keep growing. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's so important for, you know, when people fail, they come back up, or when people for people not to have excuses for things that don't happen to them, because it might not happen to them yet, but they just have to keep working at it, right? Yeah. Now, do you think that it's important for people who want to do business to be able to train and think like a businessman, right? Are all these people fit for business, in your opinion?
Like if I invest in one startup, I will see what they have and what they don't have. And it's on myself to find people to put in that system that what people don't have, so they can be, like I say, a better version of that company every day. I mean, everyone can do business, but it's all about how you find people that can fulfill you, that can, you know, do the thing that you're not good at, you know, and leaving you, you know, do the best.
What are some of your idols investing up until this point?
When I just got back from Vietnam, I read an article of Richard Branson. Back then, 16 years ago, here he had 40 companies, and he's like traveling around every week, right, having a really good life. Well, wow. How the hell on earth this guy can handle that? I mean, like, handle 40 companies at one time. So that's why I tried to figure out his formula. So I read a lot of books of successful people. Just a few months ago, accidentally, once again, I read an article about Richard Branson. And after 15 years right now, his investment fund handling 3,000 portfolio, meaning 3,000 companies. So after 15 years, I have like 21 companies. I used to think I'm half of the way, but now, no. He is someone I really admire. But to me, he's someone that's not impossible. He's possible. If he can make it that far, we can make it that far. Me and you can make it that far. It's only on us how much effort we put in, how much focus we put in.
You talked a lot about, you know, if somebody can do it, you can do it too. What do you think is within yourself that are individually with you? What are some of the determining factors that make you the one that is completely different from all the other investors or all the other business people out there?
The one thing that makes me go this far, I think I'm a very curious guy. So I don't just admire. After admiring, normally I try to figure out the formula. How can they make it happen? You know, how a billionaire make him become the billionaire? I love to find formulas. I love to analyze people, you know, how they achieve what they achieve. So by being curious, I think I learn a lot on almost daily basis, right? Like today, you know, joining the show. I mean, that's my first experience, speaking on national television in English. It's a challenge to me, but, I take it.
Well, we're very happy to have you here, and I'm sure the audience is so happy to have you here as well. So audience, it's now time for you to be asking questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Truyền. Now I am a student from Peking Academy. I see you many times on Shark Show, so I admire you so much.
Thank you.
In the future, I think I will set up a convenience store like Circle K, but this brand made by me, made by Việt Nam. So can you tell me what can I do? Set up a store and a brand like this.
Right. Wow.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I really admire your dream. You dream really big. But of course, we already have some Vietnam brand over convenience store, Vinmart,
yes.
right? But I think that's a really, really competitive industry. First, it's about you have to have experience. You have to read the public behavior. They like 7-Eleven, like Circle K, like Vinmart, they're not selling things for no reasons. The size of the products, whether it's cakes, whether it's, what kind of drink they sell, what kind of food they sell, everything, they have formula, they have reason behind it. So my advice to you, if you really, really serious about your dream, then you have to go work for one of those companies to see how they're running, to figure out that formula. So to me, open one store is a very different story from creating a brand. If you just open one convenience store, you can open today or tomorrow with your family, or just hire a location and just buying some stuff, put it in, sell it, you call it convenience store. But it's not a brand. What's a brand? A brand is something everyone knows. So to me, convenience store industry is a super, super burning cash industry. Any convenience store that can break even, they only can break even when they come to a certain number of stores. And normally, that number is very big. As I know, average, they have to have at least 150 stores to be effective, sufficient, so they can break even. So before thinking of profit, you have to be prepared with a big budget for that one. I mean, a lot of money.
All right, do we have any other questions? Yes, we have one more over there.
Hi everyone, my name is Hướng. So I want to ask Mr. Khoa a question. I know that when you start up, you have made so many difficulties. So how did you overcome these difficulties?
Being the CEO or being the business owner, you only have to be ready with one thing. Every day you wake up, something happens. And you have to have solution for those things happening. I used to have a lot of difficulty in my startup career, investing career, and I have difficulty today too. But it's a part of the game. When we have difficulty, we've been through it, of course. We also have been through with a lot of emotion, right? Yeah. So it also trained us a lot how to get over it quicker and quicker. When you've been through a lot, and then it helps you to be more balanced, more experienced, so you can be easier for you to calm down yourself and give a better solution.
I love what you said, and I'd love to add on to some of that as well. People often think that you have to go to school to know how to deal with issues, and you have to graduate from a certain type of school to be able to do something. In my own personal life, and I've watched you, and I've watched so many other people that are doing business in Vietnam, they start even before they even go to school, right? Even before they graduate. So you can start as soon as you think that this is something that you might want to do.
So it's lifelong learning. Like Phoebe said, it doesn't matter where you go to study, where you choose the place to learn to upgrade yourself. But it's like how you learn every day. Life is not about how much money you get or how successful you go to. It's all about how you experience your life, how you expose yourself to many situations, many places in the world that you can see the world very differently.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
Hi everyone, my name is Ha. I'm an English teacher, and I for myself also have an ambition of setting my own business and English centers in the future. So I'm wondering, as busy as a businessman like you, how can you balance between your work life and your daily life?
I think if you can make your words as something really you're passionate about, really something that you can have fun with it, and then you don't have to find that balance anymore. Like today, you know, if I come to the show, it can be my leisure time or it can be my working time. If I look at this as a really tiredness, like journey, it's gonna make myself so tired. But if I look at it as a wow, it's a new experience, it's a new adventure. Today I meet my Phoebe, right? After so many years watching on television, then I have a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, and sharing with you guys right here. We have difficulty in our life. But then, of course, at that point in time, we're really suffering sometimes. We're really upset. You know, we think, my God, it's killing us. When we look back at those incident or those, you know, like event, we might be thankful. Because, you know, it gives me a lot of information. It trains us, you know, a better version. And one last skill I want to share with you guys is try to be focused. And this, I think a lot of young people not having it because you guys get distracted a lot. You know, distracted mostly by the phone, right? I know a lot of students, they spend their whole day in university, but they still fail. And there's someone only study like 1 hour a day, they still have the highest score in school. What's the difference? The focus.
All right, great answers. Thank you so much for answering all of our audience's questions. We're going to move on to the next section, which is the IELTS Face-Off Challenge, where our team will be challenging Khoa to a couple of very, very interesting tasks.
All right.
So IELTS Face-Off Challenge coming right up next. You guys, please don't go anywhere because this is going to be interesting. Today's IELTS Face-Off Challenge is going to be, I would say, a very challenging challenge because you're going to pitch me something and I have to pretend to be an investor and basically challenge Khoa on some of your concepts, and then we're going to reverse the roles. Right. All right, so you guys be ready to be entertained by this section of Investment Challenge. Okay. All right, so what are you going to pitch today?
Okay, so hello Phoebe. As I know, you are a very talented investor. So today, when I come to you, I want to share with you my startup. So we now are developing a service that helping the talented Vietnamese student to expose to a lot of well-known universities, even Ivy League in the US.
So what's your business model and how long have you guys been in operation?
So I think we just started years ago, and so the business model is very simple, you know, because we have our team is a lot of experienced people in this field, including like lawyer, including we have like a very regular contact with professors from, you know, those top school in the US. So they have a lot of experience in how to give student guidance.
What percentage of the population do you think is interested in really studying at the Ivy League?
It's gonna surprise you. Now, I think every year around 6,000 to 8,000 students want to go for universities. Around 4,000 students want to go for high school study approach. So that's market is, and they're willing to pay a lot for, you know, consultancy service.
How much do you think each one is willing to pay? What's the minimum they're willing to pay and what's the maximum?
Okay, so if you want to go to, let's say, a top school, I think first you have to pay around 2,000 to 3,000 to improve your IELTS skill, right? Another 3,000 for consultancy, another 3,000 for like preparing, you know, training course to make you stand out. But I think, you know, 9,000 compared to the scholarship potential, I think it's worth, right?
And is this a service that you plan to make profit within the first year, or how many years in?
I think this service, if you get successful, you're gonna get profit right away.
Are you looking for investment, or are you looking?
Yeah, I'm looking for a strategic partner, meaning not just money, but someone can help me.
Yeah, I'll share with you later. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm running a similar business right now.
Oh, see? Now it's Monday running. Now there's Shark Tank right now.
Okay, so now it's my turn. We're going to reverse the roles, and I'm going to sell IELTS Face-Off. Hello.
Hello.
Shark Khoa.
Hello, Phoebe.
Hello. Today I'd like to present to you IELTS Face-Off. And we are in the first ever English talk show, and at the moment in time is still the first ever English talk show in Vietnam for the youngsters. So today I hope to have your sponsorship and your investment in the show to make the show bigger.
So show me about how you differentiate from other show when it comes to numbers, like rating.
Yeah, so our show ratings are extremely good. On average, in terms of every episode that we come out with for a talk show, not an entertainment show, but for a talk show, we have on average hundreds and hundreds of comments for every episode. Collectively together on YouTube and Facebook, our viewership for each episode is several 100,000 views, and some of our highest viewed episodes are about 5 million. Right now on YouTube we have 300,000 followers.
Wow.
350,000 followers.
Wow, that's a really impressive for an academic show then. So what makes such an academic show still having a lot of fans after so many years? What's the reason behind this?
We do a great job at basically servicing our fans. Every season there's something new for the fans to do.
What are the fans looking for when they come to this show?
The fans are looking for, number one, they're looking for good content. They're also looking for different mediums that they can interact with the shows. They can also talk to you online, they also ask questions. And of course, the majority of the people that come onto the show are still looking for that kind of learning experience. And we give them that type of learning experience within the show.
So I can call this as a social startup because it helps, people, right?
It's very much so.
But as an investor, I also really concerned about profit.
Yes.
Do you make profit yet?
We make a lot of profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why you need me then? When you have a lot of profit and have a lot of big fan right there.
Because we haven't been able to expand to Japan or some of the other countries that are within the region.
You want to go to Japan?
We want to go to Southeast Asia and Asia.
Right.
Yeah.
So what makes IELTS Face-Off be differentiated when it goes to Southeast Asia market? Okay,
that's a great question. Now I think the key here is not to bring this show to those countries, but to really have partnerships with people in those countries who will buy the format of our show and create their own that's customized to their market. And if you think about it, IELTS Face-Off is a show that can be made academic and also be made entertaining. And it's
informative too.
And it's informative.
Okay, so what's your offer then?
I need to discuss with our producer.
Okay, I can be a
let's talk behind the show.
Yeah, let's talk behind the show. I'm on it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure to join the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hope to see you again, TV.
Thank you so much, Khoa.
It's a great pleasure to join the show. And really looking forward to the opportunity that we can do in business.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, and really looking forward to you helping us to influence the young generation.
It's all, I think it's all my pleasure all the time to share my experience with people that need it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Up next is IELTS On The Go, where our lovely friend Khánh Vy will visit Phá Tam Giang. If you've never been to Phá Tam Giang before, it's a wonderful place with a lot of great scenery and amazing people. So Khánh Vy will show us right now. Take a look.
Oh, the camera is there. Hi, studio.
Hi to everyone. My name is Lê Đăng Khoa. I'm 17 years old. I was born and grew up in the poverty city. Now I'm standing with a pretty girl, Khánh Vy.
Thank you so much. So we are in a very special place that I have to hold this camera and tripod to film because we are in Tam Giang Lagoon, right?
Yeah.
And as far as I know, this is the Southeast Asia's largest freshwater bodies. And I think we'll go further and find out more this place.
Yeah, right. Let's go.
Let's go. Ooh.
Tam Giang Lagoons had 24 kilometers length with an area of 52 square kilometers from Dien, Quảng Điền, Hướng, Trà, Thừa Thiên Huế. Stemming from Thuận An Harbor, small boats sweep on Ola River along the length of the lagoon. More than 15 kilometers field and bridge along lagoons, we come to Thách village. After 30 minutes, the boats come to islands on the lagoons. There has Thách village. Coming to Tam Giang lagoons, travelers can depart on fishing vessel with locals. Tam Giang locals live there to swim and fish. Men go fishing prior to the sun breaks over the eastern horizon. They get up to collect fish and swim from traps. And as dusk, they reset traps and next work.
So you can see that Tam Giang pristine water and well-preserved cultural heritage of local fishing communities here has made it such a must-visit place when you come to Huế. And it has just gave me a breath of fresh air, unforgettable trip, I think. I love it so much. And the fishermen are really cute and welcoming and really nice to talk to. They even taught me how to hold this nón lá, how to wear this to make me look like a more Huế traditional girl. What do you think about that?
I think I would make sure that when you come here, you don't just live with a nice photo, but also an unforgettable memory and a lot of choice.
That's right.
Thanks for exploring with me and Khánh Vy. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Now, when we think about the idea of startups, a lot of us think about tech startups. Of course, to start a company is also another type of, you would call startup. Maybe it's about starting a company, being an entrepreneur. Many times in today's day and age, these two concepts are interlinked. It's never easy to start something new, but many people think that that's the way to go. During the conversations today, one of the things that Mr. Khoa has definitely mentioned is that you start small. You try to influence your community in a small way until, later on you can dream big and you can think big. Startups is never easy. We all have to face difficulties. We all have to overcome difficulties, maybe sometimes every day, and that's okay. Because with every different type of work, there are different types of challenges, and there are always ways that we can overcome them. So, why don't you share with us what your business idol is like, who they are, and we can start a conversation online, and maybe one day we might invite them to the show too. But until next time, we'll see you again very, very soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao.